Sit! Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss Dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Rich Dotson. He's Garret Price.
How's it going?
It's going good. We got a little bit of a shorter show today. Garrett's got out here. He's got kids. He's got to hand off to his parents, which is understandable. We've all been there, right? If you have kids, like what's your favorite thing in life? Give them the grandparents. Please take these devil spawns that's all here because of you in the first place. Please spend some quality time with them. More so, give me quality time away from them. I can't love what I don't miss, baby.
If you love it, let it go.
Let it go. And if it's supposed to be yours, it'll come back. And your parents always bring them back.
They always bring them back.
So a little bit of shorter show today. So we'll get right into it. Running back sells. Good. If you're new to Dynasty and you've only been for a little while, running backs are always a sell at all times. This time's a good time to sell because you can sell peak value where some of these guys' value can only go down, like we mentioned yesterday's show. So if you haven't watched yesterday's show or listened to it, go listen to that first, because pretty much everything we talk about, like that long intro about buying and selling running backs, can be used here, right? So we kind of saved 15 minutes right there by, this is almost like a carry on of the first show, right? But it's not like Spirit Airlines. We're not charging you for that carry on. It's just a continuation, like from one flight to another. So we're here for you, not to make a buck, but please buy our subscriptions and pay us.
Help us make bucks.
Come on, baby, I need it. So all running backs are sells at all times, right? Like, it's, to me, no matter what, it's the most fluid position on my roster, and where I always say everybody's a sell at any time for the right price. Some players, are just really, 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 you have to drastically overpay. For the most part, for running backs, I'm usually okay taking fair value, outside, of course, like the creme de la creme, like the Bijan, the Gibbs, Genty. Again, if you traded for 1-1, you overpaid for unknown production for the most part, right? Right, because nothing's known. So it is risky. It's the most injury prone. It's the shortest shelf life. It's the guys who no NFL team wants to pay. And when they do, they regret it for the most part. So that's why it's the most fluid position on your roster, because it's the most fluid position in the NFL as well, right? Like, we're playing a game that copies and mimics what the NFL does. Like, whatever they do on the field is what we get. So once a running back, when these guys don't want to pay the running back and they go to a different team, a different system, everything could change for them. And like most players that go to different teams, unless you're like special guys like Derrick Henry, it's not always better. A lot of times it's always worse. Now, some guys are better in the right system. Of course, it's a perfect fit, but we get more excited about the system than the player. Like Josh Jacobs made a very fluid transition from being a running back 1 in Las Vegas to a running back 1 in Green Bay. Is it because Josh Jacobs is still super good? Yeah. Is it also because he's also in a really good team with a good system? Yeah. Right. It's why I was so excited about what running back goes to Denver. What running back was going to the Chargers with that offensive line. Like, that gets us excited. We're not as excited about, the same thing, the receivers that go to Baltimore, people that are on Tennessee currently, what's going on there. Like, it's just, some things we just like to look at it and say, hey, this isn't for me. So I'm going to start off. If you listen to yesterday's show, you kind of know where this is going with my sell, and it's Kyren Williams of the Rams. And this one's a weird one to talk about for this show. It's a little bit shorter because if you listen to the last show, you know how I mentioned how excited the Rams were for drafting Jarquez Hunter. So much so that they traded up for Jarquez Hunter. Sean McVay said that was my number one player I want to get for the day because he fits our offense so perfectly. And I said on that show as well, hey, this says more about Blake Corum than it does say Kyren Williams. But a couple of things, like I mentioned, if you listen to like what are the odds of you being a running back 1 more than once? Kyren Williams has been a running back 1 2 times in a row. Running back 7, running back 7. We know historically for him to keep doing that is unbelievably hard for him to do, right? Whatever it may be, whether it be injuries, his contract ends, which is the last year of his contract, and then he goes to a different team. It is hard for so many different factors for these running backs to be a running back 1 multiple years in a row. So we have Kyren Williams in the last year of his deal. They draft and they trade up for Jarquez Hunter. So they're going to want to see what they have in these other running backs in Hunter and Corum probably before they decide to pay Kyren Williams, if they're even willing to pay Kyren Williams, right? So already when you look at Kyren Williams, like, okay, Kyren Williams, running back seven, absolutely fantastic, absolutely dynamic. But when we look at him, if he's going to enter that committee share, right? Williams currently has an 87% snap rate share, 78.4% opportunity share, top 4 amongst all running backs in 2024. So he does fall into that category of, wow, he's a running back 1 because he's getting all of the touches. You know, we've seen this happen many times. Running backs are running back 1s because just like Blake Corum, then like he's not the most dynamic, athletic running back. He's a very good running back, but he's still like that 5'9" shorter running back. And he has been dominated from the opportunity that he has been given. So if that gets eaten to, that can hurt Kyren Williams. And I'm not even saying that Kyren Williams can't be a running back 1 this year. What I'm saying is where his ADP is right now, which we talked about yesterday, Kyren Williams ADP, Garrett, is, of course I closed it out when I meant to open it. Kyren Williams is currently the 45th player off the board. He's running back 11. Running backs to me, when they're this stage in their career, which is the last year of their deal, about to get a new deal, even when they sign their second year contracts, that is a major red flag. If you're not a special guy, right? Like the Saquon Barkley, those guys that get the second deals. If you're not those guys, historically, from playing Dynasty and fantasy football for over 25 years, like these are the guys that we see massive plummets for. He can't get much higher. We just had an influx of running backs coming behind him that are young. The guys going behind him, like Quinshon Judkins, who's rookie, but like Christian McCaffrey, James Cook, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, RJ Harvey clearly will. But even guys like Chuba Hubbard and Joe Mixon, these are guys that all can jump him. Alvin Kamara could jump him, right? So the guys ahead of him are ahead of him for a reason because we all think they'll outproduce Kyren Williams as it is. So the fact that people are still valuing Kyren Williams as a running back 1 and running back 11 overall, I'm not saying that's like definitely for 2025, that still might be a good investment. But for a player who at a position that is the most fluid, and historically the data says this is the perfect time to get out from them, right? Like buy and sell windows. When's the right window for certain players? For the Kyren Williams of the world, the safest bet is to get out now. Now, just because something's the safest bet, it's called a bet for a reason. It's a gamble. That does not mean that all of a sudden Kyren Williams can have another great year. He gets extended by the Rams, and people are like, oh, thanks, Rich, for telling me sell Kyren Williams. Now he's the next great like running back of our generation. He gave us 6 running back 1 years. Is that a possibility? Yes. But so is landing on 0-0 on roulette. Do you go to the roulette table and bet on 0-0 all the time? Hell to the no. If 27 just hit, are you bet on 27 again? Even though it has the exact same odds to come up, right? Even though technically it has the exact same odds to come up, you're not betting on it again because why? It's not a safe bet. I mention poker all the time. If you get 7-2 offsuit, are you going all in? You know, not bluffing wise? No, because odds are those are your worst odds. And sometimes we get tricked. You get 9-10 suited, 10 jack suited. Those are really nice hands to hold. Your odds of winning are definitely better. But a queen high can beat you, right? The queen, Quinshon Judkins. The king, Kenneth Walker. The ace, Alvin Kamara. They're all out there, right? Like they can easily beat you by just being who they are, standalone high card if you don't hit. So what I like to do in Dynasty is like, again, I like to play like I look at like as gambling, poker sometimes. Like, what are my odds here, right? Like, what are my odds? Could I go all in with this Kyren Williams and win a championship? 100%. But could I just fold this hand and a fold, like say sell necessarily, like wait till the next hand? And imagine selling Kyren Williams and you end up with like a Trevion Henderson. Like you're super excited. You sell for, a Kyren Williams and you sell for a running back who people have valued drastically less, like an older guy, like an Alvin Kamara, but then you get a first, right? I love moves like what I like to do with running backs, Garrett, like situations like this. Cause like, listen, unless you have an influx in total, a lot of these running backs, like you still need Kyren Williams. So you're like, what do you mean I got to sell him? I need him. My move is trade him for those guys that are lower in the ADP that I still like. And I'll try to go, obviously it's like, what can I get back in return? But like, I'll go down as comfortable as I am in ADP, like a guy like Alvin Kamara, for example. Can I get Alvin Kamara and a first, right? Can I get Travis, like, I know it's real risky, it sounds real stupid. Can I get Travis Etienne and a first plus possibly? Or can I get like a Travis Etienne and a receiver I like? Because everybody's like, oh, I just want to get rid of Travis Etienne and get Kyren Williams. Can I get him and Jaden Higgins, for example? You know what I mean? Like, say it's a player I like. Can I better my team that way? Can I get two assets for one? That's a huge gamble. So I don't hate Kyren Williams at all. I mean, what he's done has been nothing short of remarkable. And there's still a good chance he's a running back one this year. I'm not buying it on historical data, but I mean, worst case, I think he'd be running back 13, 14 along those lines.
But sometimes it's better to get it a year out too soon than a year out too late.
And definitely at running back. Most any player, but definitely at running back, right? Because there's a floors that drop. Like a wide receiver 1 could turn into wide receiver like 25. That's still valuable. A running back could turn into running back like doo-doo sandwich. Nobody's taking a bite of that.
We've seen it so many times. Just recently, one of the most recent examples, Dalvin Cook, was like a running back 1 and then just gone. Then he just was not a thing anymore. So that happens all the time. So I think
one bad injury, these running backs are prone. That could be one bad injury, and Kyren Williams has been hurt multiple times. One other like knee injury, and I hope it's not Breece Hall, but like one injury, and their value is like receivers come back from ACLs pretty solid. Running backs, we've seen them destroy careers, or like you mentioned, it's like that Squid Game, right? Like when you're jumping from one square next, and one floor is solid, another one you're dropping to your death. Like that's a fantasy football running back. So I don't know where you stand on Kyren Williams right now, but like he's. And listen, I could probably sit here and honestly have the same argument about like a James Cook, but Kyren Williams has the highest ADP right now, so I can get the most back for Kyren Williams. But you could throw a lot of other running backs' names here in the mix, Garrett, that I feel literally similar. Like the running backs that are in the last year of their deal are the running backs that I am the most worried about, and the ones that I want to get out from under the quickest.
No, it makes perfect sense, and I've been a Kyren guy. Like I've been pro Kyren Williams, and I'm fully on board with this. Like I'm fully on board with getting out while the getting's still good. And sometimes that bites you in the butt, but I would rather be a little bit too early on guys that historically we see these types of situations than be too late. If I'm going to bet on outliers, I want to bet on outliers that I have full confidence in. And right now, especially with all of the additional moves, 2 years in a row using a 3rd rounder and a 4th round running back, that's just there's smoke. Doesn't always mean there's fire, but it probably does.
It's like your spouse coming home with a hickey, but they work at a vacuum factory. You're like, odds are that's probably a hickey, but I could see
could be a vacuum.
I could see Hoover. Suck it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if you're gonna be premature, man, do it in the right situation. Like, well, at least one of us is happy. So before we get in your sell, I said this is probably gonna be a little bit shorter of an episode due to Garrett's parenthood and him prematurely being premature. I got to tell you about some of our sponsors, and the first one, of course, you hear me talk about it every single week. If you're listening to shows at back to back, you probably heard him mention this now in the last hour and a half. And that's our friends at FastDraft. That's right. Scratch that itch. Get in there. Let's have some fun. Let's do some best ball drafts. I'm in some of those. I do. The FastDraft are the ones where I'm just like, hey, my son's at the ortho appointment. I got 40 minutes in here. I'm about to do 40 fast drafts real quick. Boom, 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 like a rabbit in there, right? Is that 40 pops? Could be. Anyways.
To it.
So, FastDraft is just that. It's a best ball app that gets you in there and lets you draft very quickly. And, they have a lot of opportunities. You join their $50,000 contest, win some serious cash, have some good opportunities. And it's a newer app too, right? FastDraft is brand new. So the contests aren't necessarily for now because it's a new app. as large as some other places you might play ADP. So where all the sharks are over there, you have an opportunity to play with like-minded people, which are a lot of Dynasty nerds and Dynasty members, right? Because it was started by a Dynasty analyst. So this is your opportunity as well. Like, oh yeah, I want to join this contest and I can win $3 million. But like the people that are playing those contests are literally professional best ball drafters, right? Like your odds aren't as high. Where FastDraft also is giving you the opportunity to actually have a much better chance to come away with that $50,000. And I don't know about you, Garrett, because you're so rich, but who doesn't need $50,000? That is a lot of Taco Bell for you, buddy. A lot of Taco Bell. So get in there, check them out. All you got to do is go to your app store, look up FastDraft, draftfaster.com. Make sure you use that promo code NERDS, because if you haven't heard yet, if you use the promo code NERDS and you use a $10 deposit, we're going to hook you up over here at Nerds. We're going to give you a free 1-year subscription, access to all our tools, all our apps, everything comes out soon. All our videos, our rookie content, our draft guide, all of it is yours. We're giving you all of us. El Natural, baby. You can see it all. Any which way you want to look, it's for your eyes. All you got to use that promo code NERDS and drop in $10, and we're going to hook you up. If you're an existing member, we will send you a $25 gift certificate to our merch store. So immediately, people are like, oh, I'm a Nerd Herd member. If you put in $10, they're going to match it and give you 20, right? I would put in the whole 25 since we're going to reimburse you anyways. Put in the whole 25. They're going to match you 25, and we're going to send you a $25 gift certificate to the merch store. So it's like a very equal opportunity here. Like you're coming up no matter what. It's like you're Viagra. So, all right.
All right. And don't forget about myffpc.com. Look, if you're ready to say like, hey, I don't know about best ball yet, but I know I can draft some pretty darn good Dynasty teams. That's what they do over there on myffpc.com. You can go over there, enter a league. Maybe it's a $35 league. Maybe it's a $100 league. Maybe you're like, bro, I'm a baller. $2,500. That's the entry fee that I am looking for. You can go there. They have a bunch of different formats that you can get into. A unique Triflex format. It's pretty cool. They even have some IDP stuff over there. You can head over to myffpc.com. You don't have to worry about it folding. Use promo code NERDS when you go there, though. Promo code NERDS, because $25 free is $25 free. Whether it's on a huge league or a small league, you're still saving $25 at the end of the day. So head on over there, myffpc.com, promo code NERDS.
All right, let's get into your sell before your kids have got to be sold to your parents.
Sold. I mean, depending on the day, maybe.
Sold with love. So not sold.
Yes.
Temporarily sold. Borrowed, I'm sorry.
So this was an interesting one for me because you're right. I had identified like 4 or 5 different guys that would have been like pretty easy for me to say like, oh yeah, I would sell this guy. Oh yeah, I would sell this guy. But there was one, even though he's a little bit lower down, it was like very shocking to see his name there. And this is a player that I really loved. Actually, Rich, you loved as well. We both came on talking rookies last year and we were like, get this guy. The value is incredible. You've got to go after him. And that's Mr. Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy, every 3rd, 4th, 5th round, I'm trying to snag him up. We talked about the screaming value that he was. Then in the preseason, we had a little injury, so you had another window. But once he got the job, he took full advantage of it. He was their main running back. But we saw that there was still a little bit of questionable play. He wasn't fully refined. He's better in the receiving game. And what do they do this offseason? They draft a guy that could be a do-it-all back in Cam Skattebo. But despite that, and granted, there's only 32 teams, Tyrone Tracy is running back 28. So he's going ahead of the number 1 running back on plenty of other teams. And look, I get it. You're like, yeah, but it's so far down, running back 28. Who cares? Like, no, look at some of the players after him that you could be adding to your team instead of a guy that's more than likely to become the backup. How about a Josh Downs or Michael Pittman? You could take either one, whatever receiver for the Colts you like more. You can add them to your team. You could add a quarterback, Geno Smith, Matthew Stafford. You can add a James Conner, a more steady, solid guy for this year. You can go after a Khalil Shakir or a Keon Coleman. Either one of them could be the wide receiver 1 for the
Michael
Bills.
Pittman, Jacoby Myers.
They're
Jack
so
he's another rookie.
so many good names. Calvin Ridley is here. Like
Uh,
so many names that you could go after at this point. So it's
like
not, what's that?
it's like a phone book.
I know, right? Like seriously, I feel like he's like 30, 40 spots too high right now at the 110 spot. I think feel more
for the risk. Yeah, you're right. And this is, again, I don't think this even necessarily, like, I still like Tyrone Tracy, but for
it's not an anti-Tyrone Tracy at all.
Yeah, the value here, it's like, oh, like, would you rather, okay, here's a good example who's somebody way lower. Would you rather gamble on Tyrone Tracy being the guy there after Cam Skattebo goes there? Or do you think, would you rather gamble in a Superflex league on a guy like Shedeur Sanders, who has a chance to be the Browns starting quarterback, and he's a quarterback, or any quarter, like a Bryce Young, for example.
Absolutely. Hey, Evan Ingram might be a top 6 tight end this year. He's going off the board at 134. Mason Taylor, huge upside at tight end. He's going at, like, there's just many names. Tyler Shuck
is like 20 spots lower than him.
Yeah.
And, like, so if you have to gamble, what are you going to gamble on? Tyrone Tracy or Tyler Shuck in Superflex? As much as I love Tyrone Tracy, he's a running back that's low. Give me the upside quarterback every single time.
I think he belongs more in the Rachaad White, Javonte Williams, Dylan Sampson, Tank Bigsby. Those guys are all in the late 150s. Tyrone Tracy's going at 110.
I personally think he falls in the category. I'm a little higher than Nat because I like the way he looks in his vision. I have him pretty dead set on like Tajay Spears, like right around 143. Like, so not a lot, but like I look at Tajay Spears and Tyrone Tracy as like the same guy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
But either way, it's still 30 plus spots of value.
Yeah. Rachaad White, I look at that as like, we'll just call it toilet water you want to get rid of.
So, yeah, this is not an anti-Tyrone Tracy. In a different situation with a different running back that would have been added, I might still be all in. But they took a guy, they lost a guy that could do basically everything in Saquon Barkley. Cam Skattebo is not going to be Saquon Barkley, but he has a 3-down skill set. And I think they missed having that last year. He could give you that. And even if it just becomes a timeshare, do you really want a timeshare running back on the Giants? Is that really what you want? Not really.
No. I mean, I barely wanted, I wanted at least timeshare. Again, timeshare running backs are easily replaceable.
Yes.
Like, I'll just trade for the guy when other guy, like, I'm going to trade for timeshare running backs are so replaceable. You just wait as running backs drop every single week. And you just trade a guy who's now was the backup, who nobody really still values very much, but he's the guy for the next 5 weeks, like the Jordan Masons, right? Then who gets an opportunity? Yep. At least they have some upside. Like, anybody that falls in that category, Isaiah Garendo, you know what I mean? Like, there's always that running back that finds themselves an opportunity because somebody else gets hurt. And people are just like, ooh, a savvy dynasty player, definitely for a team that contending, like, oh, I'm going to offload this while there's some kind of ADP bump, right? Like, oh, he's offered me a third, but his ADP is really like 220. Like, oh, this is great value. I don't need, and a lot of those times too, those teams like, oh, I don't want him. I don't want to start him. And if I don't put him in my lineup, people are accusing me of tanking. I got to get him off my roster. Those 100%. Guys are very available, right? Because like nothing's worse. Like, you have that guy in your roster and you're trying to lose, like legally lose and not necessarily tank. And then you're like, oh no, I got to start Jordan Mason. Like, somebody please get this guy off my roster before he wins me 2 games. And all of a sudden I'm drafting Quinshon Judkins instead of Ashton Genty. You know what I mean? Like, again, no disrespect for Judkins. Love him. But give me Ashton Genty 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 times. You know what I mean? Like, every loss, just so we say every win matters, when you're not trying to win, every loss matters. And getting those running backs off your roster is a necessity at the highest degree.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So, I like Tyrone Tracy. I do think he is a talented player, but the situation and the guys added just dictate that it's just not a good gamble at that point.
Okay. So I'm going to go through so we went through ADP before of where they're at as buys. I just went through the list. I'm going to look at a couple more guys here. I want to ask you, Garrett, like, do you think they're a sell because of where their ADP is in the value?
Okay.
And you just tell me yes or no. If you want to comment on it, because I only have a couple minutes here, you can tell me.
Sure.
And I'll tell you if I agree with you. First one on the list, Breece Hall. He's highly talked about, running back 24. He's only 24. He's running back 8 with a current ADP of 37 overall.
I
Does he
think
fall into sell or no? We're not going to talk about buys. We did it yesterday. So just if you feel like it's good sell value.
I would probably hold at that point.
Okay.
I think hold.
Okay. I got 3 in a row here for you because they're all ADP in a row: 51, 52, and 53. We're talking about running backs 13, 14, 15. So pretty valuable. Just like guys.
You did skip Jonathan Taylor at running back 9. Would you?
I mean, I think it's fair value for him.
I think that's fair value as well. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't skip him on accident. All right, go ahead.
Again, I read the ADP last show, so I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to go through every running back. I think at 26 years old, what he showed at the end of the year, like I'm very comfortable with that ADP right there.
Yep.
But sitting there at 51, 52, 53, Josh Jacobs, James Cook, Christian McCaffrey, any of those guys like you're trying to sell. So not saying like, of course we'd sell all these guys we're going to mention, right? They're all 100%. Available, but like I'm asking for guys that you're these guys are on they could make my sell list.
Yeah. James Cook is the one that jumps out to me as the guy with the worry about the contract and all that kind of stuff, especially if he has an okay, like start to the season. I'm genuinely worried though. Like I would like to try to sell him now. I'm worried he could end up being one of those holdout guys. And that almost never spells good news for your fantasy football teams. Even remember the one year Josh Jacobs did it. That was the only year he wasn't a running back 1, basically. We saw Melvin Gordon try to do it for a little bit. Lev Bell did it.
Literally, he was never
jacked up his career.
Again. Yeah, never relevant again. He says, he went back later and said, I really should not have. If I give some advice, I would tell people not to do what I did.
Yep.
Because he was never the same.
That is a worry for me. So he's the one that stands out. Christian McCaffrey and Josh Jacobs, they both have like their obvious lane. So like you're selling them if you're not a contender. You're probably holding or buying if you are.
Okay. Chase Brown and Derrick Henry, both back-to-back, 58, 59. We're talking about running back 16, 17 overall. Do you feel pretty comfortable in that range with those guys?
I don't hate it, but Chase Brown has been one that is, if the right offer comes around, I'd be willing to give like fair price on this one. Like I'm not trying to get over on anyone. Like you want to give me, the 58th player off the board value. Cool. You can have Chase Brown because I think he could do good this season, but it's similar to a Kyren where it feels like a short-lived window and I'd rather get out too soon than too late.
Yeah. He's right behind JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix in super flex leagues, ahead of Xavier Worthy, Devontae Smith. Like those are guys like that's fair value. Like, oh, here's a second on top, right? If that's fair. Oh, I'll give you a second. I would give for JJ McCarthy and Michael Penix, like and Chase Brown, like I'm giving multiple seconds on top, but ADP tells us they're right around there value wise. So I agree with that one. Chuba, Joe, whatever, Kamara, we're not selling. I'm trying to look at anybody. I think here's one. Isaiah Pacheco at 101. He's 26 years old, running back 26. And people are still valuing him there. Again, people aren't even valuing him as a running back 2, so I understand that. He really does, for me, fall in the line as like I'm trying to get what I can. So he's right ahead of Jaden Higgins. He's ahead of Kyle Pitts, Jaden Reed, Trey Harris, Devontae Adams, Tucker Kraft, Cortland Sutton, Chris Godwin. I would give plus on top of Isaiah Pacheco for any of those guys. And ADP says he's right before those guys. And I would take, if we were like, hey, I need a second on top, I'm like, okay, for some of those guys, but yeah, easily. Not a problem at all. Like Pacheco's like, I'm doing whatever I can to get off my roster. So if I can get like a second on top and give Pacheco to get some of those guys, easy peasy. Because like Jaden Higgins just went in a second. So people are like, oh, I'm getting a second and getting Isaiah Pacheco for free. And he falls in that line of value. People are like, oh, I'm getting Isaiah Pacheco for free. I want to give that false, like, and listen, if Pacheco's still the guy this year, which I don't think he will be, with the addition of Brashard Smith, then bring back Kareem Hunt. I don't think he will necessarily be the guy. I don't even know if he can stay healthy again. Like, I would love to, like, people to be duped into going, oh, I'm getting him for free.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, he started off the year okay, but when he came back off that injury, like, he didn't have a game over 55 yards. His playoff games, when they needed him the most, they only trusted him with 5 carries, and 3 carries in the playoff games. Like, they did not seem to trust him. That's why Kareem Hunt is still there and involved. Yep. And the other thing is, he has almost no receiving upside. Like, they tried it for a second, right? The week he got injured against Cincinnati, he got 5 targets. But then after that, he didn't have more than 2 targets in a game. the rest of the season, that Kareem Hunt's going to get a lot of that work, and maybe Brashard Smith.
Yep.
So I think that's an easy for me. Like, this just feels too expensive.
Yeah, if we're talking like sell wise, like I think he'd classify for all these players we mentioned the biggest sell, because he falls for me like I'm getting whatever I can. Like I'm making a deal whatever I can. Like I'm getting a deal done this week. You know, those trades in your leagues, like, hey, dude, I'm selling Isaiah Pacheco. The best offers I could work out here by the end of the week. He's gone to end of the week kind of deals, because you're right. He is DOA for me. But kudos to him for somebody who was like, where you drafted him, a massive home run, right?
Absolutely.
Like, these are the kind of picks like you only get like a year or so out of them, but like where you draft them, like those are how you dominate your dynasty league, picks like that, right? Like the Isaiah Pachecos that fall in your lap, God bless them. So yeah, dude, some good sells in June, in July at that running back position. A little bit shorter show than we normally do, a half hour, but hopefully it was still music to your ears. That's not a good tone. That's not good music. We'll be back next week. Matt O'Hara will be back. Sometime in the summer shows, it's a little bit harder to get us all here with family vacations and children to go through. And like I said, I got to go to Cooperstown in a couple weeks. So
it'll be fun.
All right. Back Nerd Show on Thursday. But for the rest of you, we'll see you next Wednesday.
See ya.